It began on a humid night, heavy with silence, where two young boys vanished without a sound. First cousins, close as brothers, they had been playing outside, just beyond the flickering shadows of the village. When dusk turned to dark and their laughter failed to return, panic spread like wildfire. All night, the village roared with search efforts, men calling their names into the dark, loudspeakers crackling with desperate pleas. But the boys were gone. Not a footprint, not a whisper, just an eerie stillness that blanketed the air. The next morning, their bodies were found, floating, eerily still, in a shallow pond no deeper than a man's knee. The pond had been searched the night before. Everyone knew that. And there was no stream or channel from the river to carry them there. No reason, no logic, only a chilling unease that settled into everyone's bones. The post-mortem was brief. The cause? Drowning. Natural, they said. But the mothers knew better. Elena and Liana had been weeping long before the boys were ever found. Their dreams the night before had been soaked in screams and shadowed faces, 4 of them, and a whisper, "We've come to collect." The roots of this horror reached back almost a decade, to when Elena and her elder sister, Alicia, were young brides. Neither could bear children. No medical explanation, just barren wombs and growing shame. Desperation made them turn away from reason and towards something ancient, something hidden in shadow. Alicia found him first. A priest, if he could still be called that. He didn't wear robes or speak of scripture. He lived on the edge of the village, in a crooked house that always seemed damp. He promised them children, but at a cost. "You'll have what you desire," he said, "but nothing comes free. The Jinn must be fed." They agreed. They gathered the cursed ingredients he demanded. Soil stolen from 2 fresh graves. Water from 7 distant riverbanks. Pigeons, goats, coin. They ventured into graveyards under moonlight, hearing whispers behind them, but never daring to look back. The priest warned them, "Whatever you hear, don't turn around." And somehow they obeyed. On the night of the new moon, he gave them oil to rub and water to drink. For 7 nights they followed the ritual. Then came the dreams, dark, pulsing dreams, filled with shadows and flame. And then the miracle. Alicia conceived. Elena followed months later. 2 sons, 2 blessings. They celebrated. They forgot. But darkness never forgets. Years later, the priests returned. Furious, eyes sunken, voice hollow. "The Jinn are waiting," he growled. "You made a pact. They demand their price." He asked for offerings, 4 mons of sweets, 2 pairs of male goats. The price was steep. The sisters were poor. Elena shouted at him, called him a fraud, a liar. She spat on his floor. Together, they stormed out. The priest's words, followed them into the night. Then you'll pay with blood. Soon, the boys began to change. Every night at dusk, they screamed. Not cried, screamed. As if someone was tearing their souls from the inside. Their bodies grew thin, brittle. Skin clung to bone. During the day, they were fine. But when the sun dipped, the shadows returned. The family turned to the mosque. The imam came once. But after seeing the 4 figures crouched in the mango tree, dark and smoky and whispering in tongues, he fled. He never returned. Finally, they found a scholar from a far-off village, a man of power. He came with sacred oil and words older than time. The moment he prayed, the children calmed, but his face turned pale. There are 4 Jinn, he said, powerful, bound to that priest. You summoned them for life. You insulted them. You didn't pay. He returned 2 days later to face the entities. That night, he drew circles in the ground and whispered words into the wind. Then, chaos. The earth shuddered. Screams erupted from Alicia and Elena as the Jinn took them, speaking from their mouths in voices not their own. Oma, give us the children. The scholar raised a stick, carved with verses, and beat the air around them. The sisters shrieked, dozens of voices echoing from their throats. By Allah's command, he roared, you have no claim. The Jinn screamed and vanished. The sisters collapsed. For years after, peace returned. The scholar's protective Jinn watched over the boys, and life settled into something like normal. Until 4 months ago, the scholar died. And with his death, the veil lifted. The boys began speaking of 4 strangers, dark figures who came in dreams, offering toys and food, whispering promises in voices like ash. The family thought them fantasy, or worse, kidnappers. They were neither. The final horror came during a visit to the family home. 3 days in, the boys vanished, and then, just like before, they were found floating in water that should not have taken them. That night, the mothers woke screaming, sweat-soaked and shaking. In their dreams, the 4 Jinn had returned. We warned you, they hissed. The debt is paid in full.